From the OPOPCO studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for our weekly inbox segment. Barry, we're going to take some email questions and answer them here on video. Let's get right to it. And a question from Josh. Josh says, I don't fully understand the way they can penalize a golfer the next day like they did Tiger Woods. What if that had happened in the final round to the winner? Would they change the outcome on Monday morning after all the celebrating? Great question.
Well, it is a great question. And Josh, here's what you should do. You should quit causing such trouble. Don't ask such uncomfortable questions, because the answer is they might have. I mean, this is a kooky sport that refuses to adjudicate itself the proper way. Golf wants its players to self-police unless they don't like the way those players self-police, and then they send in the paratroopers. So, no, it's a total mess. It's a great question. If this had happened on a final round, it had to occurred with somebody, let's say, with a one-stroke victory. If it Adam Scott, for instance, had happened to him on a hole on Sunday, what would the Masters do? It's a total mess. It's a ridiculous format, and golf really needs to get a hold of itself and start enforcing its rules when they occur.
You know, I played golf when I was a kid, and one thing that you always knew was whatever scorecard you signed, that score, you better be sure it's the right score. And that was sort of one of those overriding rules that you had to know as a golfer. So to me, it's really confusing that you have a rule that you can change a score well after a scorecard's been signed, and it's in the rule book that way. I mean, I understand that apparently what happened with Tiger Woods is within the rules, but to me, that overriding rule of signing a scorecard at the score that's right, not the score that's wrong, should trump all else. I'm not real sure. Golf's making this really confusing is the bottom line.
How do you know if it's the right score?
I don't know.
How does Tiger supposed to know if it's the right score?
And I don't know if I'm for people with their high-def TVs being able to text into the Masters and say, hey, somebody got this wrong.
I know quite sure that I am not in favor.
Yeah. All right. Back to the inbox. This one from Ryan. Ryan says, after watching the red-white scrimmage at OU, who do you think is the quarterback with the most talent? Interesting question.
It is a great question, and the answer for me is Kendall Thompson. He moves fantastic. He's got a good arm. His decision-making was pretty good. I mean, he had a couple of throws he probably needed to scale back. But if you ask me more talent than Blake Bell, I'm going to say yes for Kendall Thompson. However, I think Blake Bell was the better decision maker, did seem to play with more poise, and oh yeah, he moves pretty good himself and throws pretty good himself. So I think Blake Bell's going to be the quarterback, but Kendall Thompson definitely a guy to keep an eye on.
Isn't it always the second team guy that you think has the most talent? I mean, that's always the case with quarterbacks. It's always the second guy that you think could get the job done better. But, I do think the raw talent, it looks like Kendall Thompson maybe does have more ability to be that scrambling quarterback or that mobile quarterback that Oklahoma wants. But I think they're going to go with Blake Bell because at quarterback, you got to have it all. You got to be able to make the right throws, to be patient in the pocket, to not necessarily take off all the time. So I think Blake Bell is that guy. But it'd be interesting to see, maybe there's a package that could be run for Kendall Thompson. We've seen OU do it before. I don't know why they couldn't do it again. I think both of those guys have great talent that could help this team. Back to the inbox. This one comes from Jordan. Things that could make college basketball a little better. Jordan's a weekly guest now on our press row segment here. He says the game implements 10-minute quarters and eliminates at least one TV timeout. Adding quarters would double the chances of buzzer beaters, which are always cool. Jordan with another idea for college basketball.
And you know what? This is a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. Every level of basketball that we watch has quarters. Olympic, high school, NBA. You get to college and you play 20-minute halves. I think it's a great idea. Implement quarters. See if that, you know what, it's a cosmetic change, but sometimes cosmetics are needed just to change things up. I think it's a great idea. I would like to see it implemented. I'm all for it.
And eliminating a timeout? I think that'd be all right too. I mean, frankly, especially with your TV games and some of the network TV games, how long those breaks are, I think you could definitely eliminate a timeout. Coaches wouldn't like it. They like to have every last timeout at their disposal. They'd probably take more over less, but it would help speed up the game and keep things more interesting. Jordan keeps coming up with some good ideas for us here to talk about. All right, lastly from the inbox is a question from Trenton. What percentage chance do you think Russell Westbrook gets first team AllNBA?
Well, I don't think it's 50-50. I think it's less than 50-50, but I think he's got a shot. I mean, I think it's 30, 40%, somewhere in there. I think Westbrook's in the discussion. I think he's going to have to beat out Kobe Bryant for the honor, and that's going to be tough because Kobe was really good most of the year. He tallied off late in the season, but it was a great year by Kobe, but it was also a fantastic year by Russell Westbrook. His production was through the roof. His efficiency improved. His overall game was excellent. Russell Westbrook has been taking huge steps every year. Became a superstar last season, I feel like. This year, he's even taken a step up from that. He's unbelievable. He's got a shot at first-team All-NBA.
I think this is the year where he's on the doorstep. I think next year is where he has the potential to break through. I think he definitely has the resume to be a first-team All-NBA pick this year. But much like Serge Ibaka, where he wasn't an all-star this year, but he was on the cusp, I think next year he has a great chance to be an all-star. I think you see those years where guys are real close and in the discussion, and then that next year, if they replicate what they did, they're able to get over the hump. I think that's what this is for Russell Westbrook, a chance to be in that discussion and then next year to break through. But definitely, if you look at the numbers and look at the impact, it's hard to argue that he doesn't at least deserve a look this year. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.